Howdy, folks. I'm famished fairy skipper, furiously feasting upon fresh flowers.
I'm Amber.
And here are more fresh flowers for us to feast upon, the sweetest of nectar. So let's get started. Just much like the Reddit stories, the sweetest of nectar. Alright, folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a jerk for telling my dad's wife that I'm not her do-over daughter? Okay, I don't know if I'm in the wrong here, but I cannot stop thinking about it, and it's making me feel insane. I'm a 22-year-old female, and I have a strained relationship with my dad, a 48-year-old male, ever since he cheated on my mom when I was 12. He ended up marrying the woman that he cheated on with, Lynn, a 44-year-old female. I was civil with her growing up, but we've never been close. She kept distance, and I honestly appreciated that. But lately, she's been trying to force this weird mom relationship with me out of nowhere. I'm graduating college soon, and she's suddenly all over me, commenting on my social media, calling me her girl, and telling people how she's so proud of the woman that I've become. She's even made a Facebook post saying that she remembers tucking me in before big tests, and how she's been there every step of the way. What? She literally wasn't. My mom raised me, my mom worked 2 jobs, my mom drove me to every practice and every college tour. Lynn showed up to Christmas with matching pajamas, and that was about it. So, at dinner last weekend, she said that she can't wait to help me plan my wedding someday. And I just snapped, and I told her, you weren't there, you don't get to act like you were, I'm not your do-over daughter. She got upset and left the table crying. My dad flipped out and said that I humiliated her and that she's trying to build a bond, and I ripped it away. His side of the family is now saying that I'm ungrateful and just angry about the past. But to me, this feels like she's trying to rewrite history and take credit for things that didn't happen. And it makes me mad. So yeah, was I too harsh? Am I the jerk? Alright folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. She doesn't get to rewrite history. Like you pointed out, she wasn't there for you every step of the way. She entered your life when you were basically a teenager.
Yeah.
And so the whole, oh, I remember tucking her in at bedtime and everything, that's just nonsense. It never happened. She's trying to create this fantasy in her head, trying to push your mom out of her rightful place. Now that all the hard work of childcare is done, she's trying to like reap the benefits when she didn't do it.
Yeah, or she just has realized that she has like a hole in her life and that she wants to fill it in some way, shape, or form, and that OP is the solution for that. But I would say if that's the case, that she should go to therapy and kind of work on that feeling of inadequacy or emptiness, because that's not good to try to force someone into fill that position for you.
Well, the thing is, like, you can still support someone if you come into their life later on. So she could have said something like, it's been wonderful watching her grow from a teenager into the adult she is today.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of things she could have said that would have shown her appreciation for OP without actually trying to rewrite history.
Yeah, well, and that's the part that I really dislike about this, and where I don't actually blame OP, is that she literally is trying to change how everyone perceives her, and trying to change rewrite history and make it look like she was always there and being a good mother and supporting OP when she wasn't, right? And it would be worth trying to talk to her and see where all this is coming from, and maybe sitting down and saying that, this isn't all right. I understand that, you are proud of me and I appreciate that, but, you don't get to take credit for things that you didn't do, right?
Right, and you don't get to, remove my mom's role in my life. Because it's very much an affront to OP's mom, who actually did the hard work of raising her.
Yeah, exactly. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Emerald Mist says, not the jerk. She's delusional. Homewreckers usually are. And OP replies, you're saying exactly what I was thinking. Like, she really is out here acting like she didn't blow up a whole family and then try to cosplay as a mother of the year. The delusion is strong with this one. And Kiera231 says, not the jerk. She doesn't get to make up stories and rewrite history for likes on social media. And OP replies, right? Like Girl wasn't even in the group chat for 10 plus years, but now she's posting like we shared matching aprons and trauma. All for a few likes and you're such a good stepmom comments. Nah, not on my watch. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Today I messed up because I tried to be the cool dad. My oldest son, who's 15, has had trouble making friends for a whole lot of his life. But since the start of the school year, he's become very close with 2 kids in his grade, which my wife and I are extremely happy about. We've been very supportive of him fostering these friendships, which has included taking him to their houses and hosting them at ours, letting him have sleepovers with them, and taking them to museums and movies, and stores that they wanted to visit and see, stuff like that. Well, a little while ago, yes, the actual mess up didn't happen today, but I only found out about it today. My son had a sleepover with his friends. They all stayed in the living room while my wife and I stayed in our bedroom all night, and our youngest 2 sons were staying over with their friends. Once both my son's friends were here, I told my son that he could feel free to use my credit card to order dinner and even rent a movie or something if he and his friends wanted to. He and his friends were clearly happy with that, and he said, "Really?" And I said yes. He could order what they wanted and watch whatever. Now, I was expecting them to order a pizza and maybe get a dessert or breadsticks with it, and probably not need to pay for a movie as we have plenty of streaming services. And even if he did need to pay for something, I expected it to maybe cost one rental on Prime that might be $4 or so. Well, fast forward today, and I've forgotten all about this. I checked our credit card statement, and I see that it's hundreds of dollars over what I expected. I looked through the transactions and I found 2 DoorDash orders totaling over $100 a piece, a $125 Instacart order, multiple charges from Amazon Prime from different streaming subscriptions that I do not remember signing up for, and a Shudder subscription I don't even remember signing up for. To make things weirder, many of these transactions went through on different days. Then I think the worst part, that someone has stolen our credit card information. I told my wife immediately, and we both began calling customer support for these services and called our bank, frantically trying to resolve this and prevent an unauthorized spending. Our son then comes out of his room and asks what happened, and while she's on hold, my wife tells him that it looks like someone has used our card and we're trying to resolve that. He then tells us all the charges were from the sleepover. His friends ordered dinner, the first DoorDash order, and snacks that we didn't have, the Instacart order, but also stayed up late enough to even want more food, the second DoorDash order. Then they watched a bunch of movies, but instead of one-time rentals or using streaming services that we had, they would opt for 7-day free trials whenever prompted. But he forgot to tell me to cancel those subscriptions the next day. All right, folks, what do you think of this mess up?
I mean, I think OP has learned a valuable lesson here of be very careful when you tell your kids that they can do whatever they want and do not give them the credit card.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that OP kind of exercised a little bit of poor judgment here because it seems like they thought that their son had one very different expectation from what their son ended up having out of that conversation. And, the thing is, I have a really hard time blaming the son in this particular case because OP kind of said, "Oh, get whatever you want," type of thing. OP should be glad that it isn't more money.
Yeah, well, I don't know how many kids there were, but growing teenage boys can probably eat you out of house and home, so I'm not surprised the grocery bill was that high.
Yeah, it just sounds like the 3 of them.
Okay.
So I don't know. It could have been more, but I'm surprised that they didn't just eat snacks that they had at home.
I mean, if you have the appeal of unlimited resources, you're gonna buy out the grocery store. I mean, not necessarily you personally, but imagine a kid, being handed the keys to the junk food kingdom.
Yeah. Well, and then I guess the thing that kind of confuses me a little bit is when they came downstairs the next day, they didn't see the mountains of food
wrappers and everything. Yeah, I mean that is a little
Didn't it occur to you that your son had done far more damage to your credit card than you might have expected? Well, I mean, you can't really blame OP here. You can't blame the son. I think this is just one of those rare moments where there was no harm on anyone's part. I mean, I think the son was doing something that he thought he could do, and the OP just had a different expectation about what he expected from his son.
Yeah, well, and I mean, it was pointed out in the comments that the son has thus far had missed out on so many sleepovers because he didn't have friends previously, so he's just kind of making up for lost time.
Yeah, so maybe not that expensive a night. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Harry Gorilla says they will always remember this one epic sleepover party feast. And OP replies, "For those prices, they better." And OG, like Abel Fellow, says, seriously, they are going to talk about this for years to come. I have some friends that all went to this one guy's 16th birthday party, and we still talk about it at 45. And OP replies, well, I hope they're still friends with them at 45. I'm married to the one friend that I ever had sleepovers with, so I do hope that he forms similarly long-lasting bonds with his friends. And Fabulous Fig 1174 says, looks like you got someone to mow your lawn, do the dishes, and take out the trash for the next few months. And OP replies, I kind of feel conflicted about that. On one hand, I absolutely did not mean, hey, feel free to spend $500 on whatever you guys want. But on the other hand, I didn't give him limits. And I could see the subscriptions just slipping his mind. What do you feel about that? Like, should the OP force him to mow the lawn and do chores and stuff like that?
I'm not a fan of that because OP wasn't explicit with his expectations. If he had a set amount of money he wanted to cap it at, he needed to make that clear.
Yeah, and I think that's what OP is saying here too. Is he's like, well, I didn't actually give them firm limits, so it would be a little unfair for me to, now go back on my word and say, yo, by the way, you need to owe me now, type of thing. Like, maybe the son should have known better, but that doesn't mean, teenagers sometimes don't know better, right?
Right.
And Dual Split says, I do not want to be a killjoy because this sounds mostly wholesome, but I just want to share that you really messed up by not nipping this in the bud early on. My kids also had trouble making friends, and when they started, I was thrilled and went overboard and forgave and forgave and forgave. It has not turned out great. And OP replies, oh, make no mistake, my wife and I made it very clear to our son that this cannot happen and will not happen again. I think that's the important part. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, My Mom Says That It's Inappropriate for my husband to take our daughters camping alone. I'm kind of at a loss here, so I'm hoping that you all can help me out. My husband and I have been together for 15 years and married for 10, and we have 4 beautiful daughters, ages 8, 5, 3, and 1. My husband is what you would call a guy's guy, and he's into all the stereotypical guy things, cars, heavy metal, football, the outdoors, and all the power tools that you could imagine. But here's the thing, he's never once been disappointed to have girls, not once. He's a great dad, super involved, patient, and loves spending time with them. I mean, he has long hair and lets them style it and put pink sparkly bows in it. They have him wrapped around their little fingers. And when people ask him if he wishes he had a son, he always says that girls can do anything that boys can do. Just because he has daughters, it doesn't mean that he won't take them fishing or teach them how to use a wrench. And they love him so much. He's like the sun in their eyes. So here's where I'm at. He's taking our 2 oldest girls camping in May, just the 3 of them. They'll be camping for 2 nights at the state park, only about 45 minutes away. And he's an expert camper, but we haven't been in years. And our oldest only vaguely remembers our last trip. He usually goes camping with friends a few times a year, and he's actually gone on his annual spring trip right now. It's something that the girls have been begging to do, and they were so sad when he left this week. So to make them feel better, he said that he would take them next month. So he decided to take them late May. I'm staying home for a few reasons. I'm not a huge fan of camping, and we just found out that I'm pregnant again. Not exactly planned. So sleeping on the ground doesn't sound like fun for me right now. Plus, I would have to find a sitter for our 2 youngest for 2 nights, and I would rather not. I don't want to tell my mom that this is the big reason that I'm not going. She's been judgmental each time that I've announced a pregnancy other than my first one. My 8-year-old is so excited about the trip. She's been telling everyone that she knows, but when she told my mom, she immediately reacted negatively. My mom basically told her that it was inappropriate for her to go camping with her dad. My daughter was so upset that she cried, and I honestly was shocked. I asked my mom what the big deal was, and she said that it was wrong for a man to go camping with 2 girls, that they would be sharing a tent, and that it wasn't right for them to be sleeping in the same areas as him. She even said that people would think that he was a kidnapper or something like that. Now, I get that my mom can be conservative about some things, but this, it feels a little extreme, even for her. She is disgusted by the whole idea and can't believe that I'm allowing it. So now I'm apparently a bad mom, and my husband is a perv. I'm honestly fine with it. I trust him completely, and I don't think that there's anything inappropriate about a dad camping with his daughters. Heck, one of our daughters sleeps between us every night, and that's totally normal. The only concern that I've voiced to my husband is that he'll end up doing all the work setting up the campsite because, let's be real, our girls aren't exactly going to be helping with that. But now I'm starting to wonder, do other people think that it's weird or inappropriate? If you saw a dad camping with 2 young girls, would you think that something strange was going on? Or would you just assume that he's their dad taking them out on a fun trip? I'm really curious what others think. All right, folks, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't think I would question it. Like, if the kids are just being happy, energetic kids, I mean, even if they're having like a little bit of a fight or meltdown or something, like, if they don't look like they're being held there against their will, it's like, yeah, maybe then I'd start getting questions. But, I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with a dad taking his daughters camping.
Yeah, I mean, if they were screaming, "You're not my real dad,"
Yeah.
I might be a little concerned at that point in time. I don't think that there's anything wrong or untoward here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe it would be a little bit different if they were teens and they were all sharing the same tent, but I don't even know. Like, I mean, camping is camping to some degree.
Well, it is. Like, when we'd go camping as a family outdoors, like, we'd all share a tent.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of like the convenient thing. And so, like, it wasn't ever weird.
Yeah, and everyone has their own sleeping bag,
Mhm.
and I just don't see this being as big of a deal, and I don't know why the mom is reacting this way. I would be questioning the mom and her motives here, if anything.
Yeah, I mean, I think the key here is just make sure not to cue the mom in on any more of this. Like, keep
Yeah.
her out of the loop. Tell daughter that, like, grandma doesn't understand and is being weird, and so we're not going to talk about this around grandma.
Yeah.
Because the daughter does not need to hear this, and no one else needs to hear this. The mom can go be maybe don't even see her until after the trip, so she can't interject with her ridiculousness.
Yeah, I mean, that might be the good way to go. And I mean, I think that OP just needs to sit down, like you said, with her daughter, explain the situation, explain that there isn't anything wrong with this, and that grandma just has some backwards ideas. And hopefully they can move forward with this, because the girls were, really looking forward to this trip.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really a shame that their grandmother has ruined this for them, I wonder if she's just anti, like, camping and stuff like that more, because, like, Opie says that she's, kind of traditional, so maybe she doesn't view it as appropriate for little girls to be doing, traditionally masculine type things like camping and whatnot.
I mean, it could be. It could also just be that she has some very weird ideas, but
Yeah. So it might be good for OP to kind of explore why she doesn't like this too, just so that they can resolve this issue. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And ad candidate 4609 says, "What's her problem? Why is she assuming the worst of your husband?" And OP replies, "She has no reason to, but keep in mind that my husband has long hair, and my mom also thinks that's inappropriate. It's the year 2025, but apparently my mom isn't living in it. I wonder if part of it stems from my own dad, who left her for another woman when I was a teenager." Again, I think my theory of her just not liking that the girls are doing, like, traditional masculine type things may be coming through here, because she doesn't like the fact that OP's husband has long hair. So I'm wondering if that's the case. And BHE Design says, "Your dad of girls here, your mom is being a jerk even to imply this. Even worse is how she chose to do this." And OP replies, "My brother was also present when she made these remarks to my daughter, and even he was shocked at first. But then he tried to cover for her, telling my daughter that grandma didn't mean those things. I could tell by his face that he was momentarily stunned." All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she allegedly has a joke.
What might you call a zebra masquerading as a small horse?
I would say it's a phony pony.
Exactly. Today is National Unicorn Day.
Not a phony pony, a real pony with a horn. And just don't forget, folks, if you go find yourself a unicorn and you capture it, then you get a free wish. So make sure to find a unicorn in your backyard today.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't like the idea of taking unicorns captive.
Yeah, I mean, it's their horn that's the magical part, so you can make a wish upon their horn. Just remember that, folks.
As long as you don't hurt the unicorn in the process.
Maybe.
No hurting unicorns.
And I have a Earl Grey. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy, wonderful Wednesday, folks. Hump Day. Friday Junior's Eve. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it a haiku for Haiku Wednesday.
Don't put limits on what your kids can spend. Well then, expect a steep bill.
I think that works. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye!